Hey everyone, Mel here, and today I'm going to go over the importance of Photoshop actions for e-learning developers and designers. One of my favorite tools in Photoshop is the ability to use actions, and what actions are is it's basically a recording of everything that you do in Photoshop, and you can apply it to any of your pictures that you have on here. And it's a great way to change a lot of pictures at once and to save specific things that you do in Photoshop to use later on so that you don't have to manually do it. And I probably didn't explain that as well as I could have, but I'll go ahead and show you guys where the actions are and what they do, and you'll get a good feel for what I'm talking about. So if you open up Photoshop and any kind of picture you might use, go up to Window and then have your Actions layer or Actions panel out. You want to drag it out here. And as you can see, I already have all of these actions that I either created or got from somewhere. And what we're going to do is we're going to create our own actions. And this one, I'm going to do something that I use a lot, and that's to blur backgrounds. So the first thing that you want to do in your Actions panel here is go to create a new set of actions. And what we're going to name this is Blur BG, because we're blurring the background. So once I start these actions, it records everything that you do on the screen so that you can reapply it to images later on. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I want to create a new action right next to that set there. So once I start this, it's going to record everything that I do. And the cool thing about this too is you can use it for a function key. So if you use so if you click, say I use F2 and I click F2, this action will automatically apply to this image or any other images that I have open. But right now we're not going to do that. We're just going to name our action Blur, because we're only going to blur, and then we're going to hit the record button and it's going to record exactly what we do. So I'll hit record. And as you can see, the record button's on, and when I want to stop it, I hit this stop button. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to Filter, and I'm going to go to Blur. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a Gaussian blur. And this is cool and important because maybe for e-learning you use a certain radius of this blur. So what we could do is, let's say like we use that much, so 8.2. Click OK, and you should see that show up right there. So you can see it shows up. And the awesome thing about this is you could do it for anything. You can record as many actions as you want. So let's go ahead and I'll open a different photo and we'll see how that works with a different photo that I have. So here are some images that are pictures that I took when I was out around Seattle. I'm going to use one of these pictures here. Let's use this one I called Sky, and I'll show you how the action applies to it once it gets opened. And this is something that will save a lot of time for you in your e-learning projects. One way I like to use it is to resize images. So say you have a certain size that you use for icons or something like that, you can easily come into Photoshop and do that. You can also do it in PowerPoint too, but this is just, it's a quick and efficient, especially if you want to make other changes, like you want to change the darkness of the picture, or you want to change the sharpness of the picture. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So we have this picture of the beautiful water in Seattle, and what I'm going to do is, I would never probably use this as an e-learning picture, but I'm going to go ahead and just show you how this blur action works. So I'm going to go ahead and select, I'm going to go ahead and select this, and then what I want to do is I want to hit the play button. So it will pop up and ask me if I want to use it. And you can, you can change this if you want. And then as you see, it just applies exactly as I had it on the other picture. So I hope this was helpful, and you can use the Actions panel in all of your e-learning projects that contain photos.